43 only.
Call to order the September 21st, 2023 meeting of the Vernon Township Municipal Utilities Authority. The clerk could read the statement of compliance, please.
Pursuant to the Open Publics Meeting Act, adequate notice of this regular meeting was provided to the public and the press on December 27th, 2022 by delivering to the press such notice and posting same at the municipal building and filed with the office of the MUA, as well as posted on the website.
Salute the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Kristen Wheaton.
Here.
Dave McDermott.
Here.
Ed Snook.
Here.
Ed DeYoung.
Here, present.
Mark Bauer.
Here.
Pat Rizzuto.
Here.
And tonight, Paul Carney is absent. For professionals, we have Donnell Bright, Administrator CFO, Steve Benoski, our engineer, Igor Bykov, the attorney, myself, Jack McCabe, the recording secretary.
Anybody like to make a motion to open the meeting to the public for agenda items only?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
None.
Anybody from the public wish to speak?
I do not have anybody's hands raised, so
Motion to close the meeting to the public for agenda items only?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mm.
Resolution 23-25, approval of the bills. Is there a motion to approve?
Any question?
I got, after the motion, I have discussion. So
All right,
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
I just going over the list, I was looking at the annual cost for generator service, I guess.
That caught my eye too.
We just have an explanation on that.
I'm sure they go out and they check all of the generators. This is something that we've done annually for pump station 1, 2, 3, and for Black Creek lift station.
They make sure they're running efficiently and all the oil and the diesel and everything is sufficiently.
Don't our guys do that on a continual basis anyway?
No, it's
Oh, not the generators.
yeah, it's an electrical generator, so
The second one was it just seemed kind of expensive. It says one toner for a printer, $502.92. I know toner is expensive, but that sounds weird.
It's the printer that we have has 3 or 4 different cartridges that it needs to print, and we only buy it once, maybe twice a year.
Okay, thank you.
sure.
That's the only questions I have. Kristen.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Kristen Wheaton,
Yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Ed Snook,
Yes.
Ed DeYoung,
Yes,
Bauer.
Abstain.
Okay, Pat Rizzuto.
Yes.
Next item is the approval of minutes for the regular meeting of July 20th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ed Snook. Okay.
Okay, everyone that was present previously is still present in this meeting.
Okay. We will reconvene the September 21st meeting of the VTMUA. We were on the item of resolutions number 23-26 for EDU calculation for Route 281, Route 84, Route 94. Steve, if you could please review your review on this.
Sure, it's a portion of of the building on 94, which this one isn't completely straightforward, and Donnell and Jackie needed to go back in the records to find some what had been done previously. But essentially, the space is being converted into what's called Bubba's Texas Wiener, which is a fast food restaurant. And the previous use had been a deli, which would also qualify as a fast food restaurant. However, the previous EDU calculation was never updated. And Donnell, please correct me if I'm misstating anything here. The previous EDU calculation was never updated from when it was retail. So basically, the EDU was still listed as a retail space. So by virtue of changing the EDU from retail to fast food, it increased the EDU count.
Okay.
That's correct. I don't have anything to add to that. That was,
Okay. Any other questions for Steve? Is there a motion to approve resolution 23-26?
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Question. How many EDUs are now being considered for that facility?
It went from 0.5 to 1.0.
Oh, not 1.5. I thought I saw
The
one.
basis for that decision is what? What is coming from a matrix from the state or just a subjective determination?
No, the VTMUA rules and regulations essentially use the matrix from the state. The matrix from the state, which is as adopted by the VTMUA, uses the number of seats to determine the EDUs.
Okay. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Sure thing. Kristen Wheaton,
Yes.
Dave McDermott,
Yes.
Ed Snook,
Yes.
Ed DeYoung,
Yes.
Pat Rizzuto,
Yes.
Mark Bauer.
Oh.
Motion carries.
Yes.
Administrator report, please.
sure. So just update on pump station 2. We are in the construction phase. Just to let you know, I have on Monday night a change order for council. When they started doing work over there, they basically, I don't know how to explain this easily, but the information that they had prior and the township had on file prior was off by 100 feet of pipe. So where they thought that they would be connecting in, like, that did not exist. So they had to find where it needed to go in. It's an extra 100 feet of pipe. So that was a change order sent to the township to get approved on Monday night. So that will be done. The pump house structure is pretty much almost complete. I believe that they did the wet well already. We did have the site visit last week. I feel like that was 3 weeks ago already. With members of Mountain Creek, the owners of Mountain Creek were there. We had guys here from the MUA, the township was there. It was published. There was an article published today in the Advertiser. I know that there was information sent to the Herald as well. Sewer service area mapping, we are literally, I keep saying this, but 99.9% done. We sent over the final shape file to Eric at the DEP. I will be reaching out tomorrow just to follow up with him. That was sent with him, I think, on Tuesday. I just want to make sure that he received it and that we can finally move forward. That being said, we do have to do an application through the county. Once the DEP says, yes, they're good with the shape file, we'll provide the same shape file to the county, and then that would be probably on their December meeting. We won't be able to make it for October.
Question, has the shape file been sent to SCUMA right now?
No, so nothing's sent to the county until we get everything finally approved by the DEP. When the DEP gives approvals of the shape file, that's what's going to be sent out and applied for at the county. I don't think it was a good idea to have it keep changing if the DEP didn't agree to specific lot lines. The transfer station, so SCUMA did refuse to meet to discuss a transfer station. They did send a letter stating that they would not support a transfer station because they feel it would affect their own revenues by removing effluent from their own collections. Despite the fact that a transfer station is mainly for grease trap waste, which SCUMA cannot collect and cannot treat. So we would be proposing something that does something they cannot do. However, that was the only reason provided to the MUA.
I am missing something on that. I thought that we were paying them pursuant to a contract that we guarantee a fixed minimum amount, which we've never approached. So if we reduce the amount of effluent, it doesn't change the amount of our.
No, reduce the amount of their effluent. So they are concerned that instead of trucks going to them and paying them to dump off from septics, that we would be taking it.
Got it.
So
Thank
they
you.
stated that we would be in direct competition with them.
We would,
But we would still be.
Is that a problem?
Same
It's a
amount of-
problem for them.
we could probably.
Or is that a problem for us?
Discharge.
I mean, that's how I feel too, but unfortunately, they were not willing to discuss that, so. That being said,
If you look at the letter from, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of direct that their charter does not permit them to accept a proposed situation where one of its users, a township, can treat its own waste in competition with their own facility. What I'm troubled with, though, is you're absolutely right, that the amount of grease trap waste, which they can't treat, which we would be able to treat, should preclude that. And I'm wondering if they understand that.
so when I responded back to them about the grease trap waste, their response back, I did not think they understood it, because then they said that grease trap waste can't go directly into the sewer system, and I was like, well, obviously.
No kidding.
Right.
Of the transfer station. So, however, they did agree to have a meeting. I did reach out again, despite they, I kind of just keep pushing them. So I did reach out and ask to have a meeting. I think I CC'd you on that email.
Yeah.
To have a meeting. I think they're looking at, they just got back to me today, either October 2nd or 3rd, and I think the 3rd works better.
Okay.
So anyway, Mountain Creek is invited to that. The township's invited, MUA is invited, so hopefully we can get through a couple of things there. That's it. Our third quarter financial reports should be up the second week of October on our website, so just before our next meeting.
Anything we should look for in that upcoming report?
No, not for the third quarter.
Thanks, Donnell. Do we have a licensed operator report this evening?
There was nothing really new to report, other than things are going well. Things are being cleaned up and attended to, so it's good to have somebody, in my opinion, I think it's good to have somebody there every day rather than every other day. We're not seeing any issues with hogs or anything like that, so.
Going to be careful.
Then we'll move on to the engineer's report, please.
Good evening, everyone. So, I don't want to repeat too much of what Donnell said. So for the pump station 2, work is progressing. The wet well's in, the valve vault's in, a lot of the piping's in, the building is coming along nicely. As I've indicated before, there will be there's the potential for a delay in bringing the new pump station online due to long lead time associated with a generator. The contractor and Dewberry are trying to kind of see if there's any out of the box ways to bring it online without that, without incurring expenses. But although work is progressing, there could be a little delay in getting it online just due to the generator. Exactly what that is to be determined, but certainly by next month, I would have a good handle on that. We talked about the EDU calc. We talked about the sewer service area. We talked about the transfer station. I don't think I have anything else to review tonight.
Okay, and then just going off what Steve said with regards to the EDU calc we just did and what we mentioned about how it was never updated in the system. I would request that I would like my office to go through and provide Steve with all of the commercial buildings and the EDU counts that were previously approved by the board and make sure that everything matches and that everything was done correctly. I've just seen too many inconsistencies. It just makes me not feel comfortable and confident in the numbers that we have.
I think we should follow the advice of our senior administrator.
Yeah.
Is everybody in favor of Danell having Steve do that?
Yeah.
Having the engineer do that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's something
Yeah.
to work with.
Great.
Hopefully there won't be anything that I have to bring to the board, but you know, I'd rather be safe.
Yeah.
So,
You never know.
Anything else for Steve? Questions? Steve, I wanted to ask if you could maybe incorporate some pictures into your presentation, on the
Yeah,
construction of the pump station.
great idea. Yes, we'll do, Kristen.
Great, thanks. I'll open the meeting to the public for items not on the agenda.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anybody from the public wish to speak?
I got nobody.
Hearing none. Motion to close the meeting to public.
Moved.
Second,
Seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's the regular business. At this time, we'll go through commissioner comments. Ed Smith, any comments?
Not tonight.
Ed DeYoung,
I got nothing tonight.
Dave?
No.
Rizzuto?
No.
I guess I would just say that we've been invited to this meeting with SCUMA for next week, pretty much, right? Or the
Not
week
next
after
week,
next,
after that.
about a week and a half. And they said they're willing to discuss all options, they want to help us find options for capacity, so I think that's hopefully a positive thing. And I really, I think we should listen to all maybe we should solicit some options, certainly as elected officials, I know that people are hearing, what the public is concerned about and what ideas they might have, and so I just think it's a good opportunity to kind of bring in more bring in more ideas if we listen and solicit those ideas. So I guess I'm going to be encouraging that. Other than that, I don't have any other comments.
Point, you made a good point, Christian. I think I had asked Danell earlier for kind of like a summary paper, because I get kind of confused with water coming in and, water going out. Do you have anything that we could have as some type of an FAQ sheet or a summary sheet? Because people are asking me questions and sometimes I get a little confused.
So you're talking about,
Where we stand with water going in, I know, for example, that, that
our water upgrades, is that what you mean?
where are we upgrading our water? Where do we stand on that? What's going into Church Street? Also, where do we stand with, what has to be done? In terms of, where do we begin to start laying pipe? Is it going to be along 94? Is it going to be down by McAfee going towards Hardiston? I need, some type of a priority schedule.
Mhm.
Seems to me with all that's possibly going on with Ryan Holmes as a potential. Also, where do we stand with the Legends, if that ever comes to fruition, with that particular facility? Based upon the age of that facility, trying to bring it up to current standards, I think would be kind of expensive, and probably it would be more advantageous for them to hook into our system rather than to keep working along on under that preconceived notion. I've had conversations with Mr. Kaufman, and he's also had conversations with Hilly Meyer, who owns that place. And there are situations now where they're talking with a couple of people. And I think part of the concern there is, where do they stand in terms of the amount of, what kind of sewage treatment can be promised to a new buyer? Do they get involved with the existing facility, or hooking up to our own and seeing what's happening there? At some point, that's gonna have to be faced by the council. And I would rather have, as much accurate information as possible on a timely basis, rather than just try and, bluff our way through it.
Yeah, and we have on the township side been working on the water and on the sewer. So the township did appoint Dewberry for the sewer expansion, because that money was given to the township, with obviously some direction from the MUA too, right?
Right.
The MUA did all the back work on that. And the sewer service area, we've talked about it here before, that our sewer service area, all those shape files include Legends and the existing sewer service area for Legends.
So they're
that'd be
in.
incorporated into our.
They're in our
Yeah.
map.
They're in already, yes.
Right. Mhm.
And we've kind of looked at, the antiquated system that they had there, Pat.
Right.
I think they're talking tens of millions of dollars to try and bring that on, and it's a groundwater system anyway. The DEP would never approve it, so.
I agree.
Pretty much they're gonna, if somebody does eventually, keep our fingers crossed, develop that thing, they're gonna have to hook into the thing. It'd be economically a good solution for them, but you never know.
Yeah, I think there's a general, in my experience in the past couple of years, we're talking about Legends and meeting with different developers and talking about water and sewer and all that stuff. I think that there is maybe a misconception that plant can easily be brought up functioning.
You're looking at,
And I think, and it's gonna, estimates from 10 years ago or 15 years ago, it was $6 million that long ago. And again, that would just be brought up. The thing with the permit that they have right now is for the existing current use. So they are allowed to discharge to surface water and to groundwater, based on the current existing use, which is a derelict hotel that pumps maybe like 2 toilets, and a golf course. So if anything else came in, which every prospective developer that we've met with has been a completely different, it's not just a hotel, it's not just a golf course, it's a lot more, and different uses. They would have to go for the whole TWA permit application through the DEP, and that's gonna take a whole heck of a lot of time, 1, and 2, I can't see them getting approved for the way they currently have it discharged and where it's located to. It's in a C1
It's a
buffer.
great asset for that buyer not to have to upgrade that.
Yeah.
I agree.
That-
Yeah.
Agreed. I think, and I'm just being honest, I think the biggest
Problem
concern
is
are connection fees.
Problem is the connection fees. That's, yeah.
The connection fees. So something that I think the board should think about, you don't have to just keep in mind, I guess, is the board can control connection fees. You
Yeah.
could always do graduated scales if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You guys already reduced it in half last year to try and help promote development. So that's a positive. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about SCUMA's fees. However, we are meeting with SCUMA, and
Yeah.
currently the agreement with SCUMA is that any connection fees paid to SCUMA from Vernon connections, we get 60% back from those connection fees that go into our rate stabilization fund. So while we can't offset directly a specific developer's connection fees, those fees do come back to the township, to the MUA, to offset fees moving forward. That might be something that we can discuss with SCUMA.
Mhm.
Are we prohibited from working with a developer and either minimizing or eliminating hookup fees for sewers in order to encourage development?
So the MUA determines what the connection fee is.
Yeah.
So there's no minimum connection fee that's a requirement. There's a maximum connection fee that you can charge per EDU, but there's not a minimum. So that's why I said right now we're at, I think, 2,300 or something like that. It was half of what it was before. You have the ability, you could keep it at that, or you could do what some places do. They do a graduated scale. So they could say, okay, for the first 50 EDUs, it's the same 2,300, right? For the next 50, it's half of that. For the next, it might be 0, or it might be even more reduced, right? To encourage those larger developments that are going to bring on the actual flow, which as the CFO, I care less about a one-time connection fee than I do for this
Continuous flow.
annual
Yeah,
flow, because our issue is,
That's what we need. We need
Yeah.
pay the bills,
our issue is not connection fees.
pay the flow, pay for the flow.
The other thing, have we identified potential hookups along the Route 94 corridor?
That are currently not hooked in. Yeah, the whole other side of Route 94.
The whole south side of 94.
Right, so our expansion plans, so right now, our sewer service area, our existing sewer service area, when we applied for funding, the idea was to get those properties that are in this existing sewer service area that are not hooked in.
Right.
So that, when you mentioned about where are we on the sewer expansion, like what's our order priority, that is our order priority. To get the areas that are in the sewer service area, or the properties that are in the sewer service area that have no connection capability. So the entire other side of Route 94, all along like parts of Main Street. I mean, you have like certain parts can connect from 94 on the other end, but not the back end.
Are we ready to tell them they must hook up?
That's in our laws, in our bylaws and requirements.
So once the sewer area expands, are we gonna have instant additional customers who have to connect?
Yeah, so what will happen is kind of what happened back in 2011, the MUA, I'll be sending out letters to those property owners. The MUA can decide too, if they wanted to, this goes along with connection fees. Once that's done, you can say, okay, it can be a 0 connection fee for the first year, or it can be half connection fee, right? I think that's what the MUA did back in 2011. They gave people a period of time and said, well, you can have a reduced connection fee if you connect within the first year. So that would be something you guys decide. We send out a letter, we notify them, there's follow-up. Ultimately, if they don't connect, they still are required to pay a connection fee, and they're still required to pay rates, whether they physically connect or not. They can apply to the board for hardships, so they can pay off connection fees over a period of time, but ultimately they will be charged for that connection.
Would you be able to provide the board a list of all of the unconnected facilities? I identify.
Yeah, we can
businesses?
do that. We can do that. I can do that. It's important to think that like one property is one connection, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's one EDU.
I understand. Yeah.
So, you might see like a residential house, well, it's just one EDU, and that's fine. But if you're in a commercial zone,
Could be more.
you could have like 50 EDUs, right? Depending on what it is. So it's, even though it might be, oh, well, it's only one connection, obviously you'll get more from commercial usually than you would residential.
So now, a few months back when Congressman Gottheimer was here and we got the grant or the federal funding for that. At one of our meetings after that, we were talking about sewer expansion, and I don't know who brought it up, but somebody was mentioning Route 94 heading up towards
Vernon
Blue Estates,
Yep.
Vernon Inn and stuff like that. Is that's still in our sewer service area map, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, and then there
I
is.
get asked that question once in a while. I said, I think so, but
Yeah, that's in our existing sewer service area, and there is a portion in the proposed expanded that's with the DEP.
Right.
It's just a little bit past there.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So that was the 1.2 to 1.5 million dollars that we received.
No, we received 3.4,
Yeah, but
3.5.
there were 2 submissions, one from the American Rescue Plan
That one, we have $2.4 million. That's for water.
for water. Okay.
The council has, so our original estimates for that was like $3 million. Our current estimate's around 3.5. It's been like 12 years. That being said, the idea originally when I brought it to council was to pay for the 1.75 in cash. And then whatever we needed to bond out, once we had a final estimate, we would use that leftover money, that 500,000 or so, that would be the down payment on that bond ordinance, that we didn't have to, the township didn't have to front that through taxes.
And that was, and we were upgrading wells of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Where do we stand on it?
I would like to have something to council this year on it.
Oh,
I just had a meeting yesterday.
okay.
Any other commissioner comments? Hearing none. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.